לרצח של צ'ארלי קירק זיעזע אותי עד עמקי נשמתי. אני עוקב אחרי הבן אדם הזה מהרגע שנודע לי שהוא נרצח ואיך שהוא נרצח וכל הסיפור הזה סביבו. אני מיום ליום מגלה סיפורים חדשים. עכשיו אני מגלה שהבן אדם הזה הוא חסיד אומות עולם. אפילו שהאמונה שלו היא יחסית קרובה לקתוליות, הבן אדם הטיף לשמור שבת. אתם קולטים? אני מביא לכם קטע מדברים שהוא אמר בזכות שמירת שבת. לא, הסיפור הזה פשוט הולך ומהמם אותי. בואו תסתכלו.
I believe that there is heaven awaiting us. I believe in an afterlife. I believe in a God that created the heavens and the earth. However, I grew up in a church environment that at the very best would de-emphasize the Shabbat. At the very worst, say that the Sabbath doesn't really matter. The Sabbath is in your heart. You don't need to observe it.
Yeah.
And the story is quite long. I'm actually writing my next book on the Sabbath. It's called Stop in the Name of God, because Shabbat means stop or ceasing. So I'm not here to sell you a book. It's not even for sale yet. It's just something to think about. And it's honestly how the Sabbath saved my life and helped preserve my family and helped preserve my career. And so two things. Number one, a pastor that I really care about, Pastor David Engelhardt. He's one of our board members at Turning Point USA. I was exhausted. It was the summer of 2021. I sat down with him. I said, I'm not sleeping well. I'm fatigued. And he asked me very bluntly, are you honoring the Sabbath? And I gave him very weak theological arguments, honestly. Oh, I'm not bound to that. Or no, I'm not really interested in that. I don't have to do that. And he really challenged me, and I didn't have good responses, to be perfectly honest with you. And pairing that with my very good friend, who is Jewish, and he's amazing. He's a phenomenal mind. And if you don't know Dennis Prager, on the Sabbath, you guys would really appreciate Dennis Prager, because he has brought the teachings of the Sabbath to more millions of people than almost anybody alive, and I hope to carry that tradition. And he would always talk about the Shabbat, always talking about the Sabbath. And I found myself, after a couple of years of hearing this, getting really jealous of him. Being like, wait a second, you're able to just unplug for one day and not work and be with friends and family and worship God? I want that. And
Amen.
I would start to get really jealous in the worst possible way. And then I realized it's not something you go and purchase at the store. It's not something that you have to take out a loan for. It's simply the prioritization of the question of who's in charge. It's that simple. And if you believe God is in charge, and if you believe Genesis 1:1, because the Shabbat is a question of whether or not you believe Genesis 1:1, and if you believe Genesis 1:1, then you honor the Sabbath. If you have questions about Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, which is Bereshit, right? It's the first truth claim of the scriptures. Then on the seventh day you rest because God created the heavens and the earth. It is the longest standing celebration of time of the creation of the heavens and the earth. And so that realization changed my life. I could talk about this from many different dimensions, what it's meant for me personally, what it means on the macro. I also go to churches across the country. I speak at hundreds of churches of all different denominations. And I will challenge the Christian church because I believe this is the most ignored commandment of the Decalogue to our own detriment. And I will go a step further, and then I'll stop talking because I know we have a whole program.
No, it's fine.
Which is that I believe that honoring the Sabbath is the commandment that allows you to honor the other 9 commandments, and that the enemy has gone after the honoring the Sabbath because then it is easier to weaken the other 9. And I'll prove it to you. If you're honoring the Sabbath, it's definitionally easier to honor your mother and father because you're not working that day and you're with family. If you're honoring the Sabbath, it's easier not to covet your neighbor's wife because you're not around your neighbor's wife, you're with your family. And you're filled with gratitude that day. When you're honoring the Sabbath, it's easier to have no other gods before God because that day is built in time as a temple, as a sanctuary to put God first, to not have idols, to not take the Lord's name in vain. The other 9 commandments are made easier, are made more accessible for our broken, fleshly, depraved nature if we prioritize the Shabbat.
Amen.